Hey guys, it's Jill here from Lavender and Friends, your home of essential oil education and inspiration. Thanks for joining me tonight. Now, today's training is going to be on booking classes, the importance of host coaching, and also a quick explanation of the doTERRA compensation plan Fast Start, which is the Fast Start bonus. I'm also on the live chat, so if you have any questions, certainly post them, and I'd love to hear from you. And thanks if you're watching this as a replay as well. Now, when you're looking at booking classes, one of the things I've heard in training, which I refer to, is the 3 doors of openness. So what that means is the first door is, are you open to learning? When you meet people, you ask them, are you open to learning? And that's the first step. The second thing you'd be asking is, are you open to using? So obviously, once they've learned about the products, they've learned about doTERRA, you then ask them if they're open to use these products and put them into their lives. The third step would then be, are you open to sharing? Them to share the products with their friends. If you're hosting classes, maybe even looking at building a business, whatever that might be for them. But the thing you got to remember is you're not going to get someone to share if they're not even open to learn. That's why it's like 3 doors of openness. You got to get them through each door to get to that final door of sharing. Now, one thing I do is I offer everyone the opportunity to have a class. It's a great opportunity for someone to learn more by hosting a class. They can, I've been to an introduction class at my upline's house like 3, maybe 4 times, and every single time I come away with like 3 pages of notes of just something new I've picked up each time. It's a really good chance for you to expand your connections. doTERRA is a network marketing company. That means that my limited circle of friends is going to run out eventually, and that's when I want to start approaching my friends of friends and my friends and friends of friends of friends, and it sort of keeps growing and growing. And that's how your business is going to keep growing if you are tapping into other people's networks. Now, when it comes to asking someone if they'd like to have a class, I'm always asking. So at the end of classes, I go around when I do my one-on-one individually. I say, hope you had fun. Would you be interested in having a class? During the follow-up, because I always follow up everyone who's attended one of my classes within 24 to 48 hours. I'll give them a follow-up call. And again, I'll say, would you be interested in having a class? And also as part of their wellness consults. And look, I'll be doing another training video later on about wellness consults, and I'll discuss that in more detail. Obviously, if someone says no, and it's pretty clear, don't keep hassling them. But, even if they say no, it might be a no right now, not necessarily no forever. So in which case, if they say no, go, okay, that's fine. Can I touch base with you again? So say, can I touch base with you in, 2 to 3 months? And if they say, oh, yeah, sure, whatever, make a note in your diary and touch base with them in 2 to 3 months, even if it's just that's the other thing. Always ask them how they want you to communicate with them. Some people are email people, some people are text people, some people are pick up the phone and have a chat. Just find out from them how they want. So say, can I follow up with you in 2 to 3 months? Yep, that's great. What works best for you? Do you want me to send you an email? Do you want me to send you a text message? And do what they ask you to do, because then you're doing it on their terms, and you're not going to feel icky about following them up because, they said you can. Now, another thing as well is, a lot of people say, oh, I'd love some oils, but just can't afford it. Offer them a class. Offer them the opportunity to host a class and use the commissions to pay for their oils. One of the girls who enrolled under me, who is just the most beautiful mom ever, she straight up at the class she was at said, look, I'd love some oils. I just can't afford it. And I said, well, how can we get these oils for you? What about hosting a class? And she said, yeah, sounds good. So we sat together, we brainstormed, and we ended up having 2 classes, actually. 2 classes, one weekend after the other. Everyone who couldn't make the first class made the second class, and we had a really great time, really great vibe, and she ended up getting enough to pay for her LRP order and then some more. So it makes the oils an easy, makes them more affordable, makes them easy to get them. Sometimes if people say no to having a class, sort of maybe probe gently as to why. Maybe it's like, is there any particular reason, or is there any objection you have to it? Because some people just aren't class people. Some people don't feel comfortable inviting people to their house. And another option you could say is, well, look, you could bring some friends to my classes. So I personally run classes at my house, and I'm also affiliated with a local chiropractic clinic who let me use their clinic to run classes. So I have, scheduled classes always available on my website, and you can always check them out, lavenderandfriends.com. If you go to the current news section, then I've got all my classes up there. And that's one thing I tell people is, if you want to bring a friend to a class, that's fine as well. We can do that. And another thing you could do is even offer an incentive, such as if you bring a friend to a class, you both get a free bottle of wild orange. Or I've heard another incentive where you can make a little voucher, and someone can give that voucher to a friend. And if a friend then comes to your class, they get a little gift. Up to you what you want to do. You could do like a little sample bag with maybe some sample oils and toothpaste and an ice blue sample, whatever's within your budget and within what you like. I personally like the wild oranges because then they're getting some oils, and you know, every oil experience is going to get them more excited about using the products. Now, another thing as well, another objection people can have is just they think, oh, I don't have a nice house, I don't have a nice space, I don't have a big enough space, I don't have a beautiful grand McMansion. I wish I had a beautiful grand McMansion, but I don't. So one thing you can say is, you know, you don't need much space. To run a class, you literally just need space to put your oil box. You could sit on the floor and hold it on your lap if you needed to. And, you know, I bring everything with me. I bring my clipboard, I bring the notes. I don't have to have a PowerPoint, nice and easy. Make it as simple as possible. And for example, my very, very first class was at playgroup, which was in a school hall. We had about 8 adults and about 20 children, including my two kids were there running around as well. And I ran a class there and it was fun, and we got distracted and kids were running in and out. So it just goes to show you can have a class anywhere. You know, maybe they don't want to have people at their house, but maybe there's a local cafe, a local park, something like that. So if they want to have a class, but they're a bit worried about the location, just brainstorm different options with them. Now, one thing I do want to bring up, I have little notes here I'm looking at just so I don't forget what I've been saying. One thing I do always bring up is think about the language you're using. So a lot of people will say, oh, I'll host a party, like Tupperware party mentality. I actually prefer to encourage people to say class or workshop, because my goal is education and inspiration. I'm really passionate. I want people learning about the oils, and I want people using them and loving them. So for me, if someone says party, I kind of think, oh, just invite everyone and no big deal. No one's going to really, you know, it's just a party. Whereas I think if I say class or workshop, then they kind of in the back of their brains go, okay, so this is something serious. I'm going to be learning. I'm going to be, you know, getting new information. And it also ties in as well with the doors of openness, because your first door is, are you open to learning? Not, are you open to partying? So that's something I kind of like to try and encourage people to use the language of that. Another trick I use is if someone's interested in hosting a class, that's really great. And if you can, give them the option of having 2 classes. The reason is a lot of times if you only have 1 class available, you might invite 50 people and you might have a couple like, oh, I really want to come. Oh, but I can't make that date. Whereas if you have 2 dates available, it gives the host an option of saying, oh, well, I've actually got 2 classes. If you can't make this class, I've also got this class. With my friend that I mentioned before, we had the classes one Saturday and the following Saturday. And then it just so happened that a couple people were sick for the first Saturday, so then they could still make the second Saturday. Another thing as well is if your host tells you, oh, you know, my friend, she really wanted to come, but she's got something on and she can't come, get the friend's details, get their name, get their number, ask if you can have permission to contact them. And then you can then use that as a contact. Maybe you could even say, look, you know, your friend couldn't make this class. Would she mind if I drop the class notes over? Same goes if you're hosting a class at your own house and someone can't come. Always offer, just say, hey, do you want me to drop the class notes over? Do you want me to drop you around a sample? Oh, I'm really sorry to hear you're sick. Would you like a sample of Easy Air? And, you know, use it as an opportunity to build rapport, build a relationship with that person. Now, another technique when it comes to booking dates. This is something I have learned. My mum was a Tupperware demonstrator. She was fabulous. She was really good. I learned a lot from her. And one thing she always said was, if someone says, oh, yeah, let me check with a couple of my friends, get back to you. No, this is not going to end well, because they'll talk to their friends and their friends will come back with a different date and blah, 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 blah. And then they'll come back to you and then you can't do that. And seriously, this goes on for months. What I always say to hosts is, you want to book a date? Great. Let's pencil something in now. Then you've got a date to go to your friends, or even we'll pencil in 2 dates, go to your friends and see which one's more popular. But don't leave it up to them to go and chase their friends, because then seriously, stuff will never really get organized. It takes forever. Another technique is called the which technique. So someone says, oh, I'd love to host a class. You go, great. Which is better, weekdays or weekends? A weekend. Okay, great. Which is better, a Saturday or a Sunday? A Sunday. Okay, great. Which is better, AM or PM? So what you're doing is you're only offering 2 options at a time. So rather than going, oh, my schedule's free for the next month, pick a date, you're narrowing it down, and you're also giving the illusion of availability. Now, when you're first starting out, I know you're desperate and you want to get any classes you can, you'll, you know, change your schedule around, but you need to start with clear boundaries. And now I'm going to quickly talk about the Fast Start Commission. Now, Fast Start Commission is one of the many bonuses doTERRA has. doTERRA has lots and lots of ways of earning commission. They're extremely generous. I'm just going to mention the most, I guess, quickest one to get because it's the one that's going to be the most applicable to your host, and that's the Fast Start Commission. So Fast Start Commission is paid weekly, and what it is if you enroll someone, so if I enroll my friend Jessica, I get 20% of anything Jessica orders, the point value of anything Jessica orders in the first 60 days as dollars. So if Jessica puts through a 100-point order, I would get $20. Make sense? So if Jessica orders a home enrollment kit, currently 235 points, then I'm going to get, it's 20% of that is 47. I'm going to get $47 in my doTERRA account, in my A&R receivables, my accounts receivables AR balance, which I can then use to buy stuff. So what that means for your host is your host will be the enroller. Yes, I might be doing the class, I might be doing the follow-up, putting all the paperwork through, but my host is the enroller because she introduced the people to me. So she would be the enroller, she would get the 20%. Now, what you must be aware of is in order to get commissions, you have to have a 100-point LRP order for that month. Okay, this is important. You need to have a 100-point LRP order. So if your host has only just joined doTERRA, so it's September now, if I have someone who joins in September, runs a class in September, they need to have a 100-point order for their enrollment order. Now there is some, I've heard differing stories. I'll be honest, I've heard some people say it doesn't matter what the enrolling order is. They could have like buy a lip balm. It's just the following month that matters. I've also heard from people saying, no, they have to have a 100-point order the month they enroll and the following month. Play it safe. Do a minimum of 100 points the month the person enrolls and the following month. So let me just go back a bit because this is a bit confusing and it did take me a while to wrap my head around it. So Jessica's my friend. She hosts a party. It's September, the class is in September. Sorry, I just said party myself. She hosts a class. The class is in September and she wants to get the commission. So she needs to have an enrollment order because she's not a member yet. So she enrolls with minimum 100-point order in September. Now the following month in October, she has to do a 100-point LRP order. That's the Loyalty Rewards Program. If she doesn't, then doTERRA will take back, they'll basically claw back any commissions that's appeared in her account. Now, say Jessica enrolled last year. She's been a member of doTERRA for years and years and years, whatever. She only needs the 100-point order for that specific month. So if she enrolled back in January and she hosts a class in September, then it's only the month of September that she needs to have that 100-point LRP order to get any commissions from September. Now, as I said, Fast Start goes for 60 days. It's the 60 days, the first 60 days of the person's enrollment. So if my friend Jessica hosts the class in September, she needs a 100-point LRP order in September. And then if she wants to get the next part of the 60 days, because a month is like 30 days, she'll need to do another one in October. So what that means for your host, and this is why it's really important, especially if it's a host who may be financially struggling, what I suggest to these people is enroll the month before your class. So if this was Jessica and she wants to have a class in September, then I would be saying, let's enroll you in July. We'll just do a small order, pay the $35 membership fee. So just pay the $35 membership fee, get a lip balm, get something small. Then the following month in September, which is the month she's actually having her class, you need to make sure she has a 100-point LRP template the whole month. So at the very first day of the month, go in there and put the template in. Set the shipping date to be the end of the month, okay? Then she'll have her class. The commissions will appear. She can then use those commissions to pay for that order. Make sense? Simple. So let's just recap again. They must have the 100-point LRP template the whole month. Now, if for some reason they don't have that template in place, call member services. You are allowed one exemption for the life of your doTERRA-ness. For the whole time you're enrolled in doTERRA, you're allowed one exemption where if you forget to have that 100-point template in place, they will forgive you and they will still put that commissions through. It takes a week or so whenever you notify them. But let's just avoid that in the first place by making sure if someone's hosting a class, they have a 100-point LRP template in place the whole month of that class. Hope that all makes sense. If it's a bit confusing, you know, send me a question, send me a message. I've typed it all out in a document. Another thing as well is make sure your hosts realize this. I've actually typed all this information out in a really nice document, and as part of my host email, I email them this and I give them a call and make sure they understand this, because it is a bit confusing, you know. Different companies work different ways. Sometimes they have minimum spends, you know. Make sure the host understands what's going on. Now, another thing I do is I give my host a wish list. So I'll say, hey, look, we're going to assume this party is going to be smashing. This class is going to be smashing. It is. It's going to be fabulous. What are the oils you're really, really excited to get? And actually have them come up with a wish list, pin it on their fridge. Let them look at it and let them think about how they're going to get those oils, and let that be a bit of a motivation for them as well. Now, another thing I want to really, I guess, hammer home is doTERRA culture is to encourage people to enroll under who first introduces them to the oils, okay? As Jessie Reamer, who I have the biggest girl crush on in the world, says, don't be a dick about it. Like, if your friend, you know, introduces you to someone, then give her the enrollment, because you want your friend to go, hey, this is really easy to earn commission. I could do this over and over again. I could do this again. I could host another class. Whereas if you just take that enrollment for yourself, then your friends will be like, oh, doTERRA is rubbish. I'm never going to get anything. Why would I bother? Why would I keep bringing people in? So you kind of, you know, short-term gain, long-term pain, you know, think long-term in this. Do the right thing. There's enough sunshine for everyone. And I'm going to keep saying that. Now, there can be a bit of a gray area, because say you have a mutual friend. So this has actually popped up recently at a class I did. So my friend hosted a class. We'll call her Dee. She hosted a class, and a mutual friend of ours came. Now, with this mutual friend, Danielle hosted the class. My friend Dee hosted the class. So she's going to get the enrollment, because that's the right thing. The other, that friend that came, that both of us are friends with, she didn't come to my class, even though I may have invited her to one of my classes. She came to Danielle's class. So she's Danielle's enrollment. So just, you know, do the right thing. Give the enrollments to your host if they went to your host's class. If, say, I had brought along a friend that didn't know the host, because maybe I just said to the host, hey, I've got someone who really wants to come to a class. Can she please come to your class? Can she crash it? And the host is like, yeah, that's cool. Well, then in which case, they're my guests. They know me. They've come because of me. So I would get the enrollment. But as a general rule, you know, the enrollments go to the host. And as I'm always to say, do the right thing. There's enough sunshine for everyone. Now, once someone agrees to hosting a class, this is where host coaching is so important. You want the host to have a great time and to want to host more classes and for it to be a fun and easy and wonderful experience, right? Host coaching, critical, really, really important. Now, first of all, you want to build rapport with them. So when you start out, it's mostly going to be your friends, or perhaps like people you know that are your warm market friends, people who know you that are going to be doing it. So you've already got that rapport and relationship with them. As time goes on, though, and you're going to start expanding your network, and you're going to be tapping into friends of friends of friends, they don't necessarily know you. They might know you as, you know, just the doTERRA person. They might not have any relationship with you and no connection with you. You need to build rapport with them, and you need to do it fast. First of all, it's going to reduce the cancellations, because if they like you, they're not going to want to be like, oh yeah, cancel last minute, because they're going to feel bad because they like you and they want to help you out. So it also is going to encourage repeat bookings. You know, you throw one fabulous class to them, they're going to want to do more and more. And they're going to think, oh, so-and-so missed this class. They would really love when she was talking about, you know, maybe you start talking about, I don't know, caring for horses with oils. And your host would be like, oh, darn, I should have invited, you know, Mel, she loves horses. And then at the end of their class, they might be like, hey, let's have another class, because Mel would have loved that bit about the horses. So this is going to encourage the repeat bookings if you have that relationship with them. Another really important part of host coaching is managing expectations, okay? Never assume anything. My dear friend Lauren has always said to me, assumption is the termites of relationships. Don't assume anything. You have to remember that, you know, people come from different backgrounds. They might have no idea about doTERRA. They might have no idea about what hosting a class actually means. So by host coaching, you're going to make sure that you're both on the same page. You know, certain companies have certain requirements of how many people you have to have attend a class. Someone might say no to a class because they think, oh, I have to have at least 10 people or I don't get anything. You know, make sure you're managing their expectations. So when you first book a class, these are things you want to be remembering to do. First of all, establish why they want the class. Do they want to earn commissions? Do they have a friend with a specific condition they really, really want to help? do they just want to learn more about the oils themselves? If you can figure out what they want to get out of it, then you can tailor the class to suit them. No point in running a class for a group of elderly women and spending the entire time banging on about being a mum and how having the oils is so great for your newborn baby. It's going to be just blank looks. You want to make sure the class is going to suit their needs. Another thing you want to do when you book your class, confirm your time, your date, and what class they want. So maybe if you're first starting out, all you do is intro oil classes. Maybe you've been doing it for years and years and you do intro classes and make and takes and immune support and chakra balancing, you know. Figure out what they want and what kind of a class they want. And then you can obviously tailor to suit them. So let them know when you'll be contacting them. Establish the ground rules, basically. Let them know you'll contact them a week before the class just to touch base, and again 2 days before. So they're expecting your contact and you don't feel like a creepy stalker. If you ask them for permission to contact them, then you're not going to feel bad when you do. Another thing to do is ask them if they need any help brainstorming and finding guests. Some people are party planners. Some people you say, hey, let's make an event. And next thing you know, they've like organized everything. Great, awesome. Some people aren't like that. Some people you say, would you like to host a class? I'm like, yeah, I really love to have a class. I have no idea who to invite. Spend some time with brainstorming them. So I often do a mind map because I'm a visual person, and I'll put like them in the middle, and then I'll be like, okay, church friends, and then over here, school friends, and then over here, Pilates friends, and then over here, friends who like cooking. And you can just brainstorm different people and help encourage them. And if it's any consolation, my very first class, I invited 55 people and I had 2 show up. So encourage them to invite lots of people because, you know, sometimes you invite lots of people and no one says yes. So it happens, don't stress. Now, another thing as well is discuss any host rewards. Again, this is about managing expectations. My host gift, they get a beautiful amber glass spray bottle and they get 5 roller balls. It's something that is useful because obviously I'm assuming if they're hosting a class, they already have oils, and this is something very useful for them. I don't have a minimum number. I don't say, oh, you only get a gift if there's 6 people, whatever. And that's my choice. You do what you want, do your class. I know some people that say a minimum of 6 people and you get a diffuser, or a minimum of 500 points spent or bought, or whatever, however you word it. You get something, and that's fine. Do what works for you. For me, I just keep it nice and simple and, you know, duplicatable, because again, the key to being successful in network marketing is I need my team to be able to do what I do. And you know, if I'm giving away lavish host gifts, then my team might be like, I can't afford that. It's too stressful. So I keep things simple is my trick. But again, let your host know, I've got a lovely gift for you. I really hope you love it. And you can always customize that as well. So if I have a super foodie, you know, a host that's majorly into foodie, and I know they're never going to make a cleaning spray because that's just not how they are, then maybe I'll just give them, you know, a little wild orange and a bottle of lime, something like that, or a recipe book, or, you know, just tailor it to your host and give it something that they're going to like and enjoy. Also, a little tip, when you start your class, make a big deal about giving them the gift. So the guests are like, ooh, she gets something. That's exciting. That's just something I learned from my mum in her Tupperware. Okay, so if they haven't been to a class before, you might have someone hosting a class who's never actually attended one. Give them a rundown of what to expect and how long the class will go for. So for me, I say, look, I like to allow an hour for the class and a half an hour afterwards for conversations and chatting. So if you could let your guests know, it's going to be about an hour and a half. Again, managing expectations. That way, you don't have a guest show up and be like, oh, I've only got 45 minutes and I have to leave. I have actually had that happen to me where someone was like, oh, I have to pick my kid up in half an hour. What do you mean it's going to go for like an hour? And then, of course, halfway through the class, they're leaving and it's disruptive, or they're coming late. I'm a real big stickler for being on time. I get quite frustrated if people are late. So if you have friends who you know are going to be late, one suggestion, which was actually told to me, which I thought was quite clever, is suggest maybe the host has a morning tea or an afternoon tea beforehand. So maybe say 1 for a 1:30 start. And then guests can mingle and stuff, and they know they can come between 1 and 1:30, but at 1:30 on the dot, they know it's going to get kicking off. Just a tip someone gave me, and I was like, oh, that works. Another thing as well is find out if they like printed invitations. Now, I could probably do a whole nother live about how to invite people, because, you know, these days people just send out a text message to 20 people or they make a Facebook event and never actually bother to invite. I'm old school. I like something on my fridge. I like to have something there, something papery. Again, talk to your host. what would her guests like, what the host like, and offer, make it easy for them. Say, hey, look, I'd love to print you out some invitations. You can hang out to your guests. I'd love to give you some samples even, maybe chat to them if they have any specific people they want to invite, and even go over and drop them off some samples. Again, if you don't know them, this is a chance to be building rapport and a chance to be getting to know them. Another thing as well is obviously if you give samples and the people are already going to have an oral experience and already going to be excited, and you can kick the class off by saying, how did you find your samples? What did you use them for? And that's a good conversation starter. Now, again, as I said, always contact them 1 week out with a phone call, or 2 days, and then again, 2 days out, phone call or text. Again, just see what they're up to. So 1 week out, I always say this should be a phone call. Now, if you don't get a hold of them, leave a message and say, please call me back on blah, 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 my number. And if I don't hear from you by tomorrow, I'll ring again. Give yourself permission to ring again. Say, if I don't hear from you by this date, I'm going to call again. That way you don't feel like a creepy stalker because you've said, I'll ring you again. Now, if they don't reply, remember, your time is valuable. It is okay to say, if I don't hear from you by tomorrow, then I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cancel your class. It may sound harsh, but then you will have time, because you've got a week out, you're still going to have time to book someone else in. And I know it's really hard when you're first starting out and you're just taking every class you can get, but you need to start establishing ground rules from the beginning. And you need to establish boundaries. Now, if you do get a hold of them, be clear on the reason for your call. So don't waste their time, be clear what you want to know. Another thing as well, remember, is posture. So, shoulders back, talk with a smile, be away from an area clear from distractions. Doing a follow-up phone call or doing a phone call of host coaching when you have your 2-year-old screaming in the background and your baby is crawling all over you, you're not going to have a good conversation. Give yourself time and space to have that call. Now, things you want to ask them at this 1 week out phone call is, who's coming? Get a bit of info on the guests. I'm honest, I have the brain span of a goldfish. I cannot remember anything. So I say, if you can just give me a bit of background, it'll help jog my memory when I meet them. So ask if there's anything specific that the guests might be interested in or any particular oils to bring. So when I do classes, I always bring my home essentials kit and I'll say, what else are they interested in? You might have a bunch of mums. So you'd be thinking, okay, lavender peace, vetiver, anything to help the kids sleep is going to be popular. They might be super foodies. So you'd pack your lime, your lemongrass, your litsea, all the foodie oils basically. Cooking, cleaning, relaxation, just, find out what people are generally interested in. Another thing as well is discuss food. So you can, if they're providing food with oils, obviously check they're confident with the recipe. And if you're providing food, please check for allergies. Just check for allergies. This day and age, always check for allergies, any dietary things. If you want some recipe ideas for using your oils, definitely check out my website. So lavenderandfriends.com. There's a whole section on cooking. So go inspiration and then go cooking. And I've got some of my favorite ones up there. Peppermint choc chips, cookies are always a winner. Super delicious and everyone loves them and they're really easy. So that's the one that I tend to do for my classes. Or brownies with a drop of wild orange. Again, really popular. Everyone loves chocolate. It's pretty easy to do. And finally, follow up on any samples that you have given the host to deliver. So check they've actually been delivered and if there's been any feedback so far. 2 days out, again, I would be saying a phone call is best because it's about establishing rapport, another chance to chat to them, having open lines of communication. But again, a host may specify, look, I'm really busy, just send me a text and, respect what they want. Again, it's just a quick reminder of, I'm so excited to be sharing with you. I can't wait. Have you got any last minute questions? Have you had any last minute guest changes? Another thing as well, check the parking situation if you haven't been to their house. There are some very, very scary driveways in this world that you start driving up and realize you're going to have to get back down. Always check parking with the host. And also for pets as well. Check there's going to be no scary dogs or, things like that. Now, if a host cancels, it's going to happen. Life gets in the way, things happen. The first thing is be gracious and thankful they have told you. At least they gave you the courtesy instead of just ignoring your calls. At least they're telling you up front, look, I'm really sorry, I can't do it. And that's fine. So find out why they need to cancel. Some people genuinely just life gets in the way and something happens, they're sick, whatever. But some people will use it as an excuse. Maybe they don't really want to have a class. In which case I'd be looking at my host coaching. Why have they changed their mind? Did I put too much pressure on them? Were they not really interested in the first place? and always try and rebook them. So try and turn your cancellations into a postponement. Always come back with, oh, I'm so sorry. Look, how does this date work? Also, be sure to explain any promotions they may no longer be eligible for. So, for example, if there is a 200-point promotion only for this month and you know they really wanted it, just make it clear that if they move it to next month, they might not get that promotion. It may be over. Sometimes a host may need a bit of time to rebook. Then maybe there's one key person they are desperately wanting to be there, and they say, oh, look, I just need a week to regroup. That's fine. Put it in your diary. In a week's time, follow up with them. And also always give them options. You know, perhaps they only got one person who said yes and they're a bit embarrassed about it. So you could say, oh, look, that's fine. I'm having a class next Friday. Why don't you just bring that one person along, and, you know, we can have them come to that. Make it clear they will still be the enroller and they'll still be able to get the commissions. Make it clear to them. Let them realize that that's the etiquette. You know, if they bring a friend to the class, they're the enroller. Now, finally, thank you for watching today. I really hope you found it useful. And if you have, please feel free to like and follow me on Facebook, Lavender and Friends. Love to see you there. And also, I'm on Instagram as well, which is at jill.with.love. Lots of photos of food and cooking, and that's kind of where my foodie side comes out. And as always, you can visit my website, which is www.lavenderandfriends.com, full of education and inspiration for essential oils. Now, look, if you would like me to come and run a class for you, you can see I love to spoil my host and I love to take good care of them. So please shoot me a message, Facebook, Messenger, or by my website. Either way is fine. Or if you'd like to learn more about doTERRA oils and how wonderful they are, please be in touch. I'm here to help. I'd love to have you join my team. I'm always looking for new people on my team, and I'd love to be able to support you in your oil journey. So again, please be in touch. That's all for tonight, and hope to see you next time. Cheers.